Hello and welcome to Post to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. We're going to talk about the Canadiens, we're going to talk about the Maple Leafs, and we're going to talk about the Rangers. All for different reasons, but let's start it with Montreal. You're wearing your Montreal Canadiens hat. I've got the jersey and hat on, and this is our favorite team. If you don't already know that, you should by now. Wow, what a terrible start. What a frustrating start. And I know that you've been really busy and you haven't seen the last 2 games for sure, maybe 3. And it's probably saved about 3 years off your life because it was the most frustrating time this season that I've watched hockey. In the first 3 weeks or whatever it's been, those 2 games is just they're incredibly frustrating.
Really?
So I'm going to hit you with the fact first thing off.
Okay.
Do you know who has the most shots in the NHL? What team?
Shots.
Shot attempts, shots.
I'll say a team that's scoring highly. I'll say Toronto.
It's Montreal. They have the most shots in the entire league and shot attempts. Do you know who has scored the least in the National Hockey League?
Yeah, I can guess.
It's Montreal Canadiens.
No kidding.
How can a team have the most shots in the league and the least amount of goals? They've got 11 goals for in 7 games and 27 goals against, so they're a minus 16.
I know how. Because they're playing teams that don't have Carey Price in net.
What?
Because if they had Carey Price in net, they'd be scoring in most of those shots by the way he's been playing.
Oh, I see what you did there.
See where I'm going there?
Yeah, I see what you did there.
I'm not a fan of how things are working.
Okay, so let's talk about Price. He's not been playing very well the past 2 or 3 weeks since the beginning of the season, and even in the preseason he wasn't playing well. What do you think the issue is? Because I honestly don't know.
I don't think it's physical because, he's had all summer to recover. He does his bull riding rodeo thing in the summer sometimes, but I imagine after signing a $10+ million contract per year, management probably steps in and says, "Hey, Carey, you want to lighten up on the Bronco thing?" You know? And probably that's happened. I can't imagine it wouldn't happen that way. So I don't think he's physically injured, but he's not mentally there. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong, but he's a high performer, and some people can get lulled into the fact that early games don't mean as much.
Do you think that he is emotionally doing this on purpose to prove a point to Bergevin that the team is just not ready without him?
I don't think so. Not that isn't something that he might do and he has done in the past. I think Carey Price almost single-handedly got rid of Michel Therrien.
I believe so, yeah.
But I don't think there's enough need for Carey Price to pull the same sort of rabbit out of the hat, or to what extent he's pushing the rabbit back in the hat, to try to send a message. I mean, these are all adults here. He's 30 years old or almost, and I'm sure they can have a mature conversation about what has to happen on the team. What I would do something totally crazy right now.
Crazy as in trade price?
Nope. I don't think you could trade him at that kind of price. You'd have to send money with him the way he's been playing. So I wouldn't do that because I honestly think he is the guy. But he's the guy when things start to matter. I would send him off for 6 weeks in Saint-Tropez or someplace.
You want to send him on a vacation?
I would send him on vacation and say, "Carey, just do what you need to do. Just get your head in the space." I would maybe put Montoya on waivers, but maybe if I send Price away, I'd keep Montoya, and I'd bring up Lindgren.
Charlie Lindgren.
And he would be my starter because he's been playing very well.
Wow.
And, so that's just dumb, but what's dumber than being 0-0-20 or whatever the heck they are now?
1-5-1. So
yeah, same thing.
It's unacceptable.
Totally unacceptable.
There's a lot of different factors going into why they're losing. Pacioretty, for example, he's not a cycle player. He's a player that makes moves off the rush. When you get him in stride, going up through the neutral zone and into the zone, that's where he makes his plays. That's where he scores his goals. He's not a cycle player, and that doesn't work for Claude Julien because Claude Julien likes to cycle team. Yeah. And it's just not jiving. And Pacioretty has, I think I have it written down here, he's got 1 point in 7 games. Yeah. And it's not just him on the list. Galchenyuk, 1 point in 7 games. Shaw, 1 point in 7 games. Hemsky, 0 points. The person on the team with the most amount of points is Jonathan Drouin with 5 points in 7 games. Okay, that's respectable. That's about where you'd want him to be.
And he's closer in a fit to Julien's type of game because he's a possession guy.
Yes, and he's very good at cycling the puck and working the boards. Yeah. Do you know who's second in points on the Montreal Canadiens?
I'm going to guess maybe Paul Byron, just because I know he scored a few goals.
Carl Alsner.
Oh, really?
With 3 points, and Shea Weber's in second. So when Carl Alsner is second on your team in points, no offense to Carl, great player, but you're probably having some offensive issues, and it's tough.
Well, your only 2-point game so far this season is a shootout win over Buffalo. Yep. You're starting to stink pretty bad.
Yeah, and Galchenyuk, just like Pacioretty, has been underperformed. He refuses to get close to the net, and is driving Claude Julien crazy. He's been publicly vocal about this. That's why Galchenyuk was sent down to the 4th line there for a couple games. He just refuses to go close to the net, and he keeps wanting to play the perimeter, and Julien's not happy with him. So if we look at the defense, Weber and Mete are really the only puck-moving defensemen that the Canadiens have, which is fine, but they play on the same line together, which means they're only getting that great puck movement when they're both on the ice. They're not spread out on multiple lines. The other thing is they usually match up Weber and Mete against the other team's top line. So they're not getting that offensive capability to really work their magic. It's hard for them to break out of the zone. So they're not only are they the best 2 puck-moving defensemen are matched up on the same line, they can't get any freedom on the ice to do what it is they need to do. Weber has 1 goal this year, I believe, and he hasn't been letting that bomb go like he has in last year or when he played for Nashville. So it's frustrating, and I don't know what Bergevin is going to do, because I don't think there's anything he can logistically do. Any move he makes isn't going to help him, because he's just going to lose in the end, because he doesn't have the amount of assets to get what he needs to get. He doesn't have the draft picks to send out to get what he needs to get, because he'll screw his future. He doesn't have the young prospects.
I think he's screwing his future anyway.
Maybe. He doesn't have the young prospects right now to do the same thing and send them out.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the assets on the team to send out. I honestly don't know what he's going to do. And even if someone replaces Bergevin, I don't know what they're going to do. I honestly believe that Montreal is on a downward spiral, and it's not looking good for the next 2 to 3 years for Montreal.
And, oftentimes when a team is in a funk, they go for the coach. But that's not going to happen this time. I think they've got the coach.
It can't.
They've got the coach. I think they're going to go for the GM.
I think so, too.
I think Bergevin's neck is on the line here. And like you say, what can he do? Not much. There's not enough bait to fish out there in the market with.
He's apparently been after Matt Duchene, which is fine, but the asking price for Duchene is you're giving up more than you're getting, so what's the point? The other option is, John Tavares. He could be potential trade bait if he doesn't see a home with the Islanders. Does Marc Bergevin make a play or make a run at John Tavares?
Would you
Probably, but what are you going to give up?
Would you do Tavares for Price right now?
I don't know. I think I would.
I think I would too.
But I'd want more than just Tavares.
I don't know if I'd be if they would take all of his contract and let me throw.
Tavares is just going to get the same amount of money.
Yeah, but he's actually going to be producing for you as opposed to standing there like a pylon and between the pipes.
I mean,
I'm a big Carey Price fan. I have been ever since he was drafted in 2005, and I've been a follower of Carey Price. I still think he has an amazing future ahead of him. But like a lot of goalies, maybe most goalies, maybe all goalies, there's so much of it that's from the neck up, and it's about attitude, and it's about mental gymnastics and things you do. It's not your physicality, and it's not necessarily your conditioning. Those things are important, but I think it's all about attitude. And I don't mean that Carey Price has a bad attitude, but the goalie has to be in his winning zone.
He doesn't have the confidence that he had in previous years. I don't know what's going on. I'm not saying trade him. I'm just saying if Carey Price wants to win the cup, he's not going to do it in Montreal.
Not now.
I mean, realistically, he's not. It's just
they're not giving him what he needs to win the cup in Montreal. Yeah, it's not his fault.
Yeah, totally.
Carey Price, when he's losing confidence, he's losing confidence in the team in front of him.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the problem. The team in front of him is not up to his standard. But I'm not saying he's doing anything on purpose. I just think he's he's having, he's just a split second behind where he was before and getting in position. And that goal that we saw, the overtime goal by Austin Matthews in the Toronto game on last Saturday night, is a perfect example of Carey Price.
The old Carey Price would have had that.
Yeah, he would have had that. He would have been all over that puck. But this one here, he just kind of shrugged his shoulders as it went by, and that's not good enough.
So the next 5 games are against Anaheim, which is tomorrow night in Anaheim. Montreal cannot win in California, so they're going to lose that one. I bet money on it.
Yeah.
Next is Florida. They might have a chance there. After that, they play LA again. LA's on fire right now, so that's probably a loss. Then they play the Rangers, which is another team we're going to talk about here really soon. And I don't know. That's a hard game to predict because they're both playing poorly, so that could go either way. And then they play Ottawa, an interdivisional rivalry there, so they're probably going to lose that game realistically. So Montreal's not going to come out of this hole anytime soon. They're going to go further down the hill rather than going up the hill, in my opinion. All right, so let's move on away from Montreal because...
Yes, please.
Let's try not to get too stressed. Let's talk about the Rangers.
Yeah.
So the Rangers are in a similar situation. They are 1-5-1, same record. They've got 17 goals for, 26 goals against. That makes them a -9. The top 3 in the team is JT Miller with 7 points, Zibanejad with 6 points, and Shattenkirk with 6 points. So not too bad in 7 games there. But you've got Nash with 1 point in 7 games. That's just not acceptable. It's Rick Nash. I know he's getting old and he's slowing down and stuff, but it's still an extreme underperformance from Nash.
You
so
need more from
that's
him.
not good.
Yeah.
Jimmy VC has 0 points, and I get made fun of because I
said Vesey?
I said Vesey in the card opening thing. I said that because Vesey is an extremely popular name here on Prince Edward Island. It's everywhere, and it's pronounced Vesey here.
Vesey, yeah.
So I said it naturally, not because I didn't know how to pronounce Jimmy Vesey. I know he pronounces his name Vesey. There you go. He's got 0 points. McDonough's got 2 points. Maybe a little bit more from him, a couple more points, but his giveaways have been absolutely terrible recently. I don't know what's going on with them, but it's been frustrating to watch. So they've just been making costly defensive mistakes. I was watching them play Pittsburgh the other night, and they looked actually pretty good in portions of the game, but then they just had defensive collapses, defensive collapse. It was just really frustrating. And then I think it was McDonough himself that gave over the puck in the overtime right behind his own net, and Pittsburgh scored and won in overtime. So
I haven't been following the Rangers at all, but how's the King been playing?
Not well.
Really?
Yeah, no, not well. Yeah. I wonder if I have his numbers on here. No,
because -9 isn't grim. It's not great.
Oh, I do have his numbers. He's 3.23 goals against average and a 9.2 save percentage. So he's in the 9s, which is great, but he still isn't playing where he should be. And again, I know he's getting old, and he is trying. I don't necessarily blame him. I'm going to kind of maybe the Carey Price thing. I'm going to blame the team in front of him.
Yeah, because if he's in the 9s and he's still over 3 in a goals against, that's just too much rubber.
Yeah, definitely. And the Rangers have actually suffered a lot of bad puck luck. I know people talk about puck luck and make fun of it, but it
works around.
If you watch some consecutive games, you can see some bad puck luck, and the Rangers did have some in that last game, or the other second last game, doesn't matter, against Pittsburgh. Crosby scored a goal from behind the net, not even looking, just backhanded it, went off. Lundqvist sticking in the net. It's frustrating. So who's to blame here? Do you blame the team on the ice? Do you blame the goalie? Do you blame Alain Vigneault? You think Vigneault would get fired? He's been there a while. He's been there, I think, like 7 years, maybe?
He has, and he hasn't delivered yet.
He got them to the finals once or twice,
maybe?
I don't know. I like the team makeup. I'm actually really happy with the way that the Rangers are structured on the ice. I think it's just a matter of just playing a few more games, getting that chemistry going and stuff. I think they'll bounce back. Yeah. They play the Islanders next, which they'll probably lose. It's a pretty big rivalry there, and the Islanders are playing fairly well. After that's Nashville. Could go either way. Nashville's playing pretty decent as well. San Jose is struggling, but they're starting to play better, so they could get a sneak win in there in San Jose. After that, they play Arizona. They could get a win there for sure. And then they play Montreal, which they could get a win there. So Rangers fans, don't be too worried. I think you'll start to see the Rangers trend upward in the next week and a half or so. But I don't think you fire Vigneault. I think you give him a little more time. But if it came to that, I think I'd be okay. I think even with a good coach like Hitchcock in St. Louis, amazing coach, lots of success. Sometimes you just need change, and that could be what the Rangers need in a couple of weeks. All right, let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the Rangers are falling, the Canadiens are falling, and the Maple Leafs are soaring. And
not totally unexpected.
No,
but maybe not to the degree.
I don't think they can keep up at the same pace that they're going at, because they're 6-1-0. They got 34 goals for, but they've got 22 goals against, so they're only a plus 12.
Yeah. Well,
so
right now they're on pace for what, 63 or 64 wins this season out of 82 games.
Something like that. Anderson has been playing well, but he could still be doing better. He's got a 3.14 goals against average and only an .899 save percentage.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're still having defensive problems. So if Toronto wasn't scoring, they'd be in a completely different situation. So Maple Leafs fans, you got to be happy about the offensive capabilities of Toronto. But if they weren't there, Toronto would be probably in the same place that the Rangers are now, just kind of struggling.
What's the team plus minus?
It's plus 12.
Plus 12
right now.
And so when you're 6-1-0 and you're plus 12. You're filling the other team's net just a little bit more than they're filling your net,
just a little
right?
bit. Yeah.
So that's danger signs there, and I think you're right. It can't continue, indefinitely.
No, I mean it'll level off in a bit. They'll get better defensively, and they won't be producing as much offensively. Things will kind of tighten up. But I just want to talk about Brown. I thought Brown's been playing really well recently. I think he's really underrated, and He's been scoring a lot of really important goals for the Toronto Maple Leafs, game-winning goals, and just really crucial, great timing goals. So I thought he deserves some recognition. And Marleau's been playing pretty well. His effort level for his age and just watching his effort level is incredible. He was a one-man show the other night. I think it was against, I can't remember who I was watching, but he had the puck. And he skated out of the zone, and they got taken away from him, and he circled back and took it back away from him, skated up to the blue line. Someone took it from him. He skated back and took it back from them, and then dumped it in the zone. He was a one-man show there for that one game, and I really feel like his effort level is a great example for the younger guys on the Maple Leafs. So that was really cool to see.
He's got to be having fun.
Yeah.
To be playing like that.
But really the only negative, if you even want to call it a negative on Toronto, be minus their defensive problems, but that was expected. Mitch Marner only has 4 points. And you might think, we're complaining about Mitch Marner only having 4 points, and he's got more points than anyone on Montreal. So it's probably a good problem to have. But Austin Matthews has 10 points. Kadri has 8. JVR has 7. Nylander has 7. Marner's at 4. He's been struggling just a little bit. It's early, so he'll come into his game a little bit. And he played really well last year, so I'm not worried.
No, I'm not worried at all. I'm worried about how much these guys are going to cost in a year or two. I'm not worried about how well they're going to play now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the future for Toronto in the next 5 games looks a little something like Ottawa, which is going to be a really tight game. Ottawa's been playing well. LA, on fire. Carolina, they've played a lot less games than everyone else in the league, so it doesn't look like they're playing well because they're low in the standings. But they are actually playing pretty well, so that's actually going to be a pretty tight game, I believe. Philadelphia's been playing really well, and then San Jose is just starting to play well. But that game is in San Jose, and I think Toronto's a little bit like Montreal. They don't play that well in California, so they could probably lose that game. But they've got 4 tough games there, so you'll probably see Toronto work its way down the standings just a little bit. But other than that, I have nothing else to complain about Toronto. And it's amazing to watch them play. It's so exciting.
And they can be competitive in all those games.
Oh, totally.
They have a chance of winning all those games,
Absolutely.
which is not something you can say about Montreal's road trip.
Or the Rangers.
And the homestand that's coming up, or the Rangers,
So I just thought that we would talk about those 3 teams and get this video out as soon as possible. The Las Vegas Golden Knights is another team that I want to talk about. This video is getting a little long, and I don't have any notes here, but I think they're 5-1-0 or something like that.
Something like that.
It's really incredible, to be honest, and it's exciting. And I think I said this in a recent podcast. Regardless of how much you hate hockey being in Las Vegas, it's so good for the NHL that not only there's a new expansion team and fans are excited, but the team is doing well.
Yeah.
Like, it's great for the NHL, and it gives more invitation to other cities making a play at a team like Houston.
And it gives hope to other existing teams in the league that have had, continuous problems catching on in their community or even in their performance.
Yep.
You take Gerard Gallant, you put him in there with a whole bunch of guys who didn't even know each other 4 or 5 months ago.
It's crazy.
And now they're all playing together as a hockey team and playing well. This can't continue indefinitely because the shine is going to wear off a little bit. But right now, I wouldn't count them out of being in the top 8 in the West. Because they'd have to fall quite a ways now to get down into that zone. Now, it's so early in the season. You can't make any predictions about any of the teams we've talked about.
Fleury has been put on the injury reserve list, I believe. He has
Malcolm
a concussion.
Subban, look at that.
Malcolm Subban has been playing well.
I mean, he got, 2-0 shutout? Well, almost shutout.
Almost shutout,
The other night. He was leading 2-0 with like 30 seconds left, and they got a goal on him, which was unfortunate. But I think they ended up getting an empty netter after that and won the game 3-1.
Yeah, something like that.
But Malcolm Subban got a win and almost got a shutout in that game. And what a great story that would be. That was against Boston, which was a former team, which would have been amazing to shut them out. So, and you and I were like,
right on the edge of our
seats watching that. And then all of a sudden, boom, they scored, and it's just like, dang.
Yeah.
It would have been a great story. Next
time.
Well,
I'm going to be watching the Golden Knights.
Yeah, me too.
Pretty soon.
Me too.
I've watched, I think, 3 of their games, but their next game I'm going to watch, I think they play tonight, so I'm probably going to watch that. If not, I'll watch them tomorrow.
Yeah. And I will never not be a Montreal Canadiens fan. I mean, that's
of course,
I'll take that to my grave, and that's just the way I'll always be. But if my team is letting me down, as they are so far this year, I can actually enjoy watching other teams.
Totally.
And I can, so I'm actually going to not watch Montreal play until they start earning my eyes.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. So, when they start playing well enough to watch, I'll start watching again. But right now, I still care about the score, and I'll be watching, reading the media, but I'm not going to sit there and waste 3 hours just to watch, myself get angry.
It's a really good thing you didn't watch the San Jose game. There were so many penalties and giveaways on both sides. San Jose wasn't playing that well either. They looked like they were playing really well because they were playing Montreal, but they were having a ton of penalties and giveaways as well.
Really, yeah.
But at least San Jose is improving.
That ended up, 5-2, I think it was?
5-2, yeah. And the game last night against LA they played better. I felt like they outplayed the Kings in the first 2 periods, but the third period
looks like they did. It was like 1-1 after the first period.
Yeah.
I think the second was maybe scoreless.
I think so, yeah.
And then all the bad stuff happened in the third period.
Third period was ridiculous.
So they fell down. But now that's really what Montreal has to take away. Can we just win a period? Forget the damn game. Can we win a period?
Well, Montreal always loses in California.
Yeah.
Like, always. So the fact that they played in California early in the season, they don't have to worry about it for the rest of the season. They know that they're not coming back to California, so at least that's a good thing. But,
well, I guess, yeah. But now they have Florida to look forward to. They always suck in Florida, too, around the Christmas break.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
All right, well, that wraps up our conversation on the Leafs, the Habs, the Rangers, and the Golden Knights. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be talking some other teams in the upcoming podcast. We'll be discussing, what else are we going to talk about?
In the podcast?
Yeah.
We're going to spend some time on Gordon Downie.
Oh, right, Gordon Downie. Yeah, we're going to talk about him.
Yeah, and for viewers that don't recognize that name, he was the lead singer of the Tragically Hip and passed away a couple of days ago. Right. A huge connection with hockey and Canada for Gordon Downie. Absolutely. We're not going to get all, teary-eyed, but get the box of Kleenex out, because neither one of us were huge Tragically Hip fans.
Yeah, admittedly, I'm not a huge Hip fan.
Yeah, but in the reflection that people are doing now about, and I think more for this podcast and for this show, his connection to the game of hockey and the Canadian experience with hockey is what really grabs me about Gordon Downie.
Yeah.
And there's a few songs I like from the early days of the Hip. The later stuff, the activism and the theatrics, I wasn't into.
Yeah, but he's written songs about hockey.
About hockey.
50 Mission Cap or whatever.
50 Mission Cap. Fireworks is probably one of my favorite hockey-related songs, and it's great.
And the Maple Leafs did a wonderful tribute to him in the game the other night, so that was really cool to see. So hope you guys can catch us for the podcast this coming week. We really appreciate that. It comes out on Sunday nights or Monday mornings, depending on when I finish editing it. So thank you guys very much for watching this video. We really appreciate that. If you can hit the like button if you liked it, that helps us a lot. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button because we're always talking hockey here, and we'll see you in the future. Adios.